Welcome back, everyone. It's Key of W with Neyyah again. We have made it to Vamir's secret office in the Paida factory. And today I'm going to be going over some lore, because as you see, there's some books on the table that we can examine. So let's go in. We can add this book to our inventory. This is Vamir's journal. And this here is another journal of sorts. There's more to read here. Those are the only two books we can take. These books up here, they're all nice and all, but we can't do much with them. We can look up and we can see a light on the ceiling, which I guess is interesting. So I'm going to start with Vamir's journal. We're going to just read through that now. Although I have salvaged the Pyoltish head statues from the pillars, was it right for me to agree to having only the remaining Chianti building demolished, just for the sake of experiments? The Falitsu plants are vital in my plan to eradicate Smolex's obsession and pollution of the Paida's technology. This natural power could be a way to save Olajay before it is too late. Perhaps the creepers will come after me next. I might end up feeling them wrapping around my ankles somewhere on a beach, hating me as much as they hate that wretched beryllium metal Smolax keeps choking this place with. It's almost as though the land knows. Neyyah knows. Smolax can smile for now, knowing he has ridden more of this once beautiful world from another slice of its history, but not for long. And we have a drawing of the Falitsu Dome here. I've made some space in an old storage area at the back of my secret office at the Paida factory, taking away some of the pallets that were once used for storing the crates of freshly powered Paidas and placing the statue heads there. I didn't have the heart to dump them in the bottom of the ocean. Everything else in this once beautiful world is crumbling into the ocean as it is. Maybe Orianne will release her vines on the Falitsu Dome now, knowing I am trying all I can to preserve what is left of the Fazaltian world here on Neyyah. I did smile at the little present my friend Ernter sent over to me the other day, a prototype of what would later become the Falitsu Dome itself, demonstrating the mechanics and operations of the rotatory system. I think it will serve as a nice ornament at my office on the Paida factory. Work has progressed nicely on the Lavandis crystal lamps. With the alterations made to one specific lamp, perhaps that prototype model will come in useful for making sure certain things are kept safe. The Falitsu root experiments are important. I must protect them. The biggest concern I have is the longevity in the Falitsu Dome's operations. Smolax was quick to examine the mechanisms of the Fazaltian gun towers, how all cogs would run together in order for the towers to rise, and the Zalum Tukitop chamber's shutter to lower. He simply stole what he needed from the Fazaltians and did not require much assistance from the magicians at the Ronalda Temple at all, apart from the installation of the giant Kula crystal at the top of the dome, and the Falitsu plant pools inside. The rotatory shell works fine, considering the designs and operations of the mechanisms, but it's cumbersome and unstable. I think it's supposed to be cumbersome. I will be pushing for a more stable dome to house the Falitsu plants, especially if any other dome structures are built for further experimentation. I've made further developments to the old railcart system that leads to the Mahili portal tank. The entrance to the underground railcart works well, even after all these years. The Fazaltians knew how to devise very secure doorways to areas of great importance. What concerned me was the portal itself. To make any further repairs faster, I have marked the area in which the portal has been built under the water. I can resume work much easier this way. So we have a drawing of one of the rocks I was looking at the beach, in the Sleeping Towers area, and a drawing of some sticks out in the water, which looks very similar to what we saw in the middle of the water at Falitsu Dome. And there's something about a Mahili portal tank and an entrance to an underground rail cart. Pelska portal activation code 4231. I have decided upon a mixed use of Fazaltian Floria symbols and constellation numbers to enter the code. Flora, constellation, Flora, constellation. My book on Fazaltian Flora came in handy on this one. And now there's a drawing of the Pelska portal, I believe. The bunker teleportation console is also ready. I must be prepared to use this once it is activated by the sensors at the Nyashka heater chamber, as Smolax will start his descent to Neyyah once I've opened the console. I have concealed the code in a faraway safe place. I was sitting with Nuluka one morning before I set out to Neyyah to complete a list of errands. He translated one of the Pyoltish clan's names into Galahanti for me. Belilka. And here's the name in Galahanti. We also have a drawing here of something we have not seen at all. It could be related to this paragraph or this one here. Makes more sense for this paragraph, talking about a bunker teleportation console. And this must be used after performing some other thing that we're not 100% sure of yet, but I have a feeling we're going to learn more very shortly. We also have a little bit of information about this strange script, which is called Galahanti. It maps one-to-one with these sounds, so B is here, E is there, L is there, I, L, K, A. Just a little clue of how to write things. We will learn some more Galahanti later, but you can start figuring out how this code script works just from this word. If you're really clever, you can get it. This is one of those moments that really pushes my desire to generate systems in which to teach the sacred coded language of the Fazaltians. Not that Smollax would approve. However, when I have a prototype ready, I intend to share it with Naluka. I'm sure he would be very keen to try it out. I would also need to keep it on a distant, faraway location, and we have a drawing of some glasses. I have made 2 new keys which will unlock the new mechanisms I have installed across Neyyah. I have given one to Mason. The other I will keep here on my office at Paida Factory, and that's the spare key we're looking for. I left the Ronalda Temple the other day, having discussed the recent Yopalesh portal devastation at the Paida Factory, and we've seen the result of that. Smollax wasn't at all happy, disregarding the portal's once useful activity as a mere means to an end. So many areas of the Fazaltian world have been transformed into platforms to give power to Smollax's use of new Ologerian technology. Upon activating the microphone frequencies at the old gun tower on the Levandus zone, the sounds emitted there brought tears to my eyes. It was almost as if that sound belonged to the mourning of the departed Pelskas, or even the pain of the lost Fazaltians, seeping back into Neyyah from the depths of their prison, the Quilivian. I am so close to finding it now. Soon I will be able to put my mind at rest. My work on Neyyah will be done. Couple things I want to cover on that. This picture here doesn't relate to these paragraphs. It's actually related to this. This is the drawing of the locking mechanism on the office that requires a key, and it requires the spare key. Then talking about microphone frequencies being activated on a gun tower in the Levandus zone, and something about departed Fazaltians. Now, we're not 100% sure what all of these words mean quite yet. Pelskas, Fazaltians, Quilivian. We can take a guess. Fazaltians were the people that lived here in Neyyah, and the Quilivian is where they are now. But we don't know where it is. I'm so close to finding it here being the Quilivian. I have just finished installing the new lever system for the water pump shed at the Scarlatti Towers. I've made sure the key Ermter has provided is kept far away from any prying eyes. This, therefore, is a different key than the spare key we're looking for. I have considered bringing the key here to the secret office on the Paida Factory, but having precious items hidden in different locations will keep things more secure. I'm uncertain whether the old guard station on Glorfiak Mines is a good place for keeping things protected, considering how close it is to the main lab. However, I doubt Smollax will have much intention of snooping around in old Fazaltian areas. So the key being talked about for the Scarlatti Towers is going to be in Glorfiak Mines. And it's talking about old guard station for that key. And this is just a drawing of a button. It's kind of hard to tell. The elevator at the Felitsu Dome has been shut down. I understand Smollax's frustration at this. Even so, those Pelska vines will consume the entire dome before too long. I warned him countless times to not use Relidium metal. Those vines will enshroud anything Smollax pollutes Neyyah with. I just hope I can speed up work with the Felitsu roots before this happens. I'll replace the button as soon as I can, but the vault cabinet on Felitsu Island must remain accessible in order to retrieve the correct symbol for the Majorna gas system at the Ludwig Tower. So that's a lot of stuff we don't know quite yet. Let's see. Where's the elevator? That's the very first words. I was looking for it. Talking about an elevator at Felitsu Dome, probably the one on the map listed on the outside of the building, which we saw when we first arrived. So it's been shut down. It is no longer usable. It says he'll replace the button as soon as he can, but we'll see if that's true when we go there ourselves. And there's something about a Volk cabinet that's got to remain accessible in order to retrieve a particular symbol. And this symbol here is not the correct symbol for the Meorta gas system. This symbol is just the symbol for Ludwig Tower. That reminds me, I must fix the cabinet's sensor. All other 3 sensors seem to be in good working order. I have to discuss with Taleva my suspicions regarding the glyphium that Smolix has concocted from the Nyashka spores. I took a couple of samples and will take them to my lab in Olajay for a couple of tests. I may even bring the equipment to Neyyah, but we'll see. There's a possibility that the drug may be used to subdue the people rather than benefit their health in any way. It would be used as a protection against the elements once the Leflomium portal brings Olajay back to Bracknarian. I'll see how Taleva goes with eating the white parts of the Gafunkia mushrooms. I have been working alongside Mason a lot more of late, as I believe if my trust can be strengthened in him, he will prove to be a valuable asset to the work I need conducted on Neyyah. Mason hasn't mentioned how much about his memories of where he came from, as he says he can't remember much before arriving here on Neyyah. One thing I noticed on Mason when he first arrived was a distinctive purple dust and rock on his shoes and parts of his clothes. This made me speculate where this may have come from. I have seen no such dirt here in Fazalta, and definitely nowhere in Olajay. This led me to consider the possibility that this may originate from Quilivia, within the Quilivian itself. Mason has fueled my hopes in finding a way to restore Fazalta, to find the Quilivian and rescue the prisoners there. If Mason can escape, who else can? And if not, is there a way to get inside the Quilivian and perform a rescue attempt? And now we have a drawing of some kind of board or machine here and a viewport. The thought of teaching our community about the more in-depth and fascinating ways in which the Fazaltians live their lives excites me beyond measure. I am proud of my efforts so far in pursuing ways in which to inform new Nyashka site workers of the Fazaltian soul of this land. I am not sure if I'll pursue work on the constellation number system I have rigged up currently on the old watchtower on Penorvia Point. Glitches keep occurring when some of the switches are activated. Still, it's an enjoyable process, bringing something which keeps Neyyah alive at its core. I have finally fixed the Pelska portal. For now, I'll keep it at the hangar on the lab HQ of Glorfiak Mines, where we found it. I used it a few times yesterday when double-checking the sensors at the Nyashka Pool's heater chamber. Getting from there to Penorvia Point as planned is now instantaneous. Trapping Smolix at the bunker can be achieved much faster now, no point in waiting around any longer than is needed. I have set up active points around Neyyah where the Pelska portal can be used. Only once the portal is activated will the symbols glow blue. The lit symbols must be visible in order for the traversals to work properly, and here we see sort of our official first look at the Pelska portal thing. They need to be glowing blue, and every time we've seen them, they're just metallic. They're not glowing at all, so we cannot use the Pelska portal at the moment. Pelska portal active point locations. Felitu Island, Gafunkia Zone, Sleeping Tower area inside the old Paida lamp at the beach. We've seen that one. Felitu Island Dome Zone above the Plasmodor entrance, Paida Factory walkway side. We've been there, but I didn't look at it. I just didn't realize. Felitu Island Harbor Zone, plaque above the entrance to the old Beacon Cave on the old Binocular Towers side. We have not been there. Felitu Island Paida Factory Zone, the pier inside the telescope. We've seen that. Felitu Island Lavandis Zone, inside old Paida Lamp at rest area near the viewpoint. We have not been there at all. Felitu Island Lavandis Zone, inside the left old Paida Cradle outside the cavern entrance, and we also have not seen that. Penorvia Point, behind one of the Flora plaques on the left side of the Pelska Shrine entrance. Have not been there at all. Glorfiak Mines, main island inside the wall of the Golarcraft hangar, close to 2 old Fazaltian posters. We've seen that one. Glorfiak Mines, the beach area, inside the disused helmet system at the sedation chamber of the signal tower. Have not been there. Scarlatti Towers, inside the empty light cradle on the wall of the control bunker. And have not been there either. Alright, and that's Vamir's journal. A lot of information there, including a code to activate the Pelska portals, which will be 4231. In fact, that's a code that's used for a lot of things, but in this particular case, 431 is being used in combination with flora and constellation numbers. So we'll have to figure out what that means. The other journal we've picked up is here. This is the Flora and Fauna of Neyyah information book. Fazaltian Flora. That's right, we are about to read a book about plants. And notice that each plant has a number. And in Vamir's journal, he was talking about using flora numbers as a code. So number 1 is the Neyyah plant, a sacred plant which was believed to have been grown by the ancient peoples of Tulimbari. A special water was produced called Lodvik water, enabling the plant's growth to be sustained in later times during the Fazaltian reign. The Neyyah plant is now grown for its spores under the control of Smolex Mehmet. So this plant here, grown for spores, producing Lodvik water. We've seen the name of a tower called Lodvik Tower. Some of this other stuff, we don't know what Tulimbari is, for instance. But the Neyyah plant, singular, apparently there's not multiple of these around, is now under the control of the Ologerians, even though we are not in Ologeri now. So there's a bit of history there. Plant number 2, the Pelorian flower, an ancient Fazaltian flower blossoming with a fluorescent blue and white bulb. They can grow in small or large sizes, and their flowers have been extracted and mixed with other components to help form the plasma for Pelorian portals. That's why the Pelorian portals have those blue rings around them, why there's a lot of blue on these portals. It's apparently the plasma, which comes from this flower. Felitsu plant is number 3, a giant leafed plant, which usually grows close to bulba trees. In ancient times, there was an abundance of these plants across Fazalta. Their roots are examined, extracting possible energy resources to generate power in Olajay outside of the traditional use of Paidas. The Felitsu dome was built to enable these plants to flourish, due to most having withered away due to changing climates on Felitsu Island. Number 4 is the Gafunkia mushroom, and that's the symbol we saw on the doors in the Gafunkia zone. The Gafunkia mushroom grows across Felitsu Island in what has become known as the Gafunkia zone, since the island was separated by Banaxi eye portals. In certain areas, the roots of the mushroom soak up waters stained with Pelorian flower petals, and big spores can be found glowing blue under the mushroom. Smaller spores grow on top, which have been used to generate light. Some useful information there, especially this last bit. There are spores that can grow on the tops of these mushrooms, which are bioluminescent, or at least they can be used to generate light. Rather than they are bioluminescent, they are able to be used as a light source. Number 5, the Warlat flower, and we have seen this symbol in the map developments book where it says open the rock. Warlat flowers can be seen dotted around various terrain, including on beaches close to shorelines. The Warlat flower has been used in the creation of invisible ink, which can be made visible using salt. Number 6 is the pellicular tree, a very common tree which can be seen around Fazalta, growing on rocky terrains and beach areas. Their roots grow very deep, enabling these trees to prosper in high terrain areas. Needles that grow at their base have been used by Fazaltians in the past as dart weapons against a range of dangerous creatures, such as Maleva cats and Elaxiums. Number 7 is the alder flower. These plants grow in various colors, including red and green. Red alders are commonly sighted at shorelines and shallow waters. Number 8 is the Flepole fern. These ferns are very common across Fazalta. They can grow in various locations, including rocky terrain and beach areas. They can grow into bright green colors, yet suffer in shade, preferring sunlight. They can flourish in either dry or wet conditions. Number 9 is the Stachilia flower. The Stachilia flowers are quite pale in color, usually white or turning yellow, their stems growing very tall. They can be found growing in clusters around beach and shoreline areas. Number 10 is the Staculia flower, a more stout form of Stachilia flower with slightly thicker green leaves growing at their base. They can be seen growing on rocky terrain areas. Number 11 is the Mortlet flower. These flowers can be classed as more of a weed, which seem to grow in old ruined areas of Fazalta, as well as sandy or rocky areas. Number 12. Culdacor tree. A very tall palm tree growing on beaches. They can sometimes grow quite isolated from one another. However, more commonly they can grow in pairs or sometimes in clusters of 4. They are seen all across Visalta. Number 13. The Pelska vine. Pelska vines have only become prominent on Visalta where specific Oligerian structures are based, containing a metal called rhelidium. Spelled different than rhelidium in the journal, not sure which one's correct. They represent the physical representation of the Pelskas here. That's a sentence for you. They represent the physical representation of the Pelskas here on Neyyah. The Falitsu Dome is becoming a problematic area where there is an infestation of the vines growing there. So the Oligerians are using a metal called rhelidium, and these vines start growing around those structures. In Vamir's journal, he's interpreting it as the vines sort of having a mind of their own and having a hatred of the Oligerian constructions. But it could also just be there's some kind of nutrient in the metal that the plants crave. Number 14, Balulba tree. The Balulba tree is an ancient Visaltian species of tree. They only grow in very select areas of Visalta. Falitsu plants would grow in abundance under these trees before climates changed. Their leaves form a thick canopy, keeping birds at bay, while their needles protect the base of the tree from any land-based predators. Number 15. Nymphy flower. A thick green leafed plant which finds nutrients in Pelorian pool waters, water which is mixed with the fallen leaves of Pelorian flowers. And number 16. Flant. A seaweed which can flourish underwater but can also be spotted on shorelines, growing on structural areas usually very dried up and flat in form. Well, that's a lot of different plants. Hope you memorized them all. Now we have the Visaltian fauna. Number 1 is the Maleva cat, a very adaptable cat species. Maleva cats have evolved to become a ferocious predator in Visalta, using their large yellow eyes to spot prey at long distances and in dark areas. Mating rituals involve the use of a large red crest that flares up at the back of their heads. It can also be used to ward off any potential threats, along with a deadly spiked tail. And we've seen Maleva cats a couple times now. The Palafe toad. We saw this guy on a rock. The Palafe toad can be found in swampy/marshy areas and enjoy a good sunbathe once in a while. Their spiky skin was once used by Visaltians as an ingredient in their early developments of weaponry against Elapolites. Number 3 is the Talabrock bird. Talabrock birds were once trained to attack the Elapolites in battle. While not big enough to take on a full-size zephyrfish, they will feed on smaller fish on beach areas. The oil in their feathers has been used by Visaltians for medicinal purposes. Number 4, the Nylaxium. Spelled different than it is earlier in the book. I think this is the correct spelling. Nylaxiums populate rocky cliff areas and beaches. While armed with a powerful beak, they are a flightless bird and are more likely to flee than attack in dangerous situations. Repellents have been set up on poles in certain areas of Neyyah to keep these creatures away, sometimes sedating them. Number 5, the zephyrfish. The zephyrfish are a very ancient creature on Neyyah. Blue light can be seen emitted from tentacles growing from the top of their heads, which hold a strong electromagnetic pulse. These fish have become troublesome in the production of Nyashka spores, and so systems have been put in place on the Nyashka pools to prevent them entering the heater chamber. And this is important. We've been told something about Nyashka pools and spores in the heater chamber. And this fish can get in there. Apparently they like the spores here. And their tentacles or whatever have a very strong electromagnetic pulse. Let's remember that. There you go. Now you know everything there is to know about Visaltian flora and fauna. Let's take a look on the desk at some other stuff. We basically got like a quill for pen and ink, a cup here, kind of ornate, and a plate. Like, there's still stuff on the plate, like it's been used, but I don't think anyone's been in this office for a while. We can also look at this device, which is really easy to miss. You can press your space bar, that'll help you out. But trust me when I say that I missed this the first time around. And inside we find an item. It's really hard to see exactly what this is. It looks like there's a circle here. But if we pick it up, we see it is the dome key, which will be useful to us next time we head to the dome. Which won't be right away. We'll get there eventually. And we have some papers in here. That's right, there's more reading today. My dear Vamir, I write to you from the top chambers of the Ronalda Temple, below the Benoxy Eye Tower. You know what I feel, Vamir, as I breathe in the dying breath of another day on this floating rock. I feel an emptiness that has continued to suffocate my people for far too long. It is sunset now, and the Benoxy have started to disappear, their wings like black scythes cutting through the expanse of reds and magentas that bleed from the sky. Their shrieks, I can hear it in their shrieks. They crave for something else, something lost to them. Don't you feel this way too, Vamir? We are so similar to the Benoxy, you and I. We crave for that same something. Something that belongs to us deep down in our cores. Alas, we have been parted from it for so long that we now mourn in the darkness, finding solitude only in the shadows of what could have been. The very thought of holding the Quilivian again snatches me from my hour of sleep, yet I cannot find it. And so, I mourn just like the Benoxy. I feel them, cutting endlessly into the soulless twilight of what has become of my existence. Our existence. You are fortunate to have found what you need on Nyashka Site 28, but let me assure you it won't be enough to quench the thirst of what your soul really craves for. The shrieks of the Benoxy will be flying around your head before too long, Vamir. This leads me to the matter I've been meaning to approach with you for a good while now. Alas, the search beckons. The rituals at the Ronalda Temple grow fiercer each night, and Kerhelta Volca stirs within the white pool of the Laflomian portal. I have been preoccupied, to say the least. Nonetheless, it comes to my attention that your Benoxy eye portals have stirred quite a fuss here at the Ronalda Temple. Quakes from the dead pit have been interfering with various experiments currently being conducted by my high priests. I am sure they are onto something. A new development in the speed at which the Paida and Lavanda's crystal react together, and in doing so generating enough power to pierce a glimpse into the heart of the Laflomian portal. However, amidst all this progress, your decision to have separated the entire Falitsu Island into 5 separate zones is causing more trouble than it was worth, in my opinion. Yes, I understand why you required the dome to be separated, due to the rising sea levels and the increasing temperatures of the Falitsu Island disturbing the Falitsu plant growth. I trust your decision and have approved your experiments with the Falitsu roots on multiple occasions, as I too agree that the root could provide a suitable power source for our people throughout the city. This way the Paidas can be manufactured for the primary intent of being used at the Ronalda Temple, furthering my research there. I am also quite surprised by the results of the Benoxy eye portals. While the original main islands of Nyashka Site 28 remain fairly stable in their allocated areas across Faamor, I believe through our technological advances we have achieved greater things. I am aware you had a big part in overseeing this work, and I congratulate you for it. Inspired by the Volk machines, right? Or however you spell those things. Considering the filth littered across Nyashka Site 28, is there much point in separating more of the place? And to what end? You've built all this technology only for one wretched island, and most of it serves no purpose for the production of the Nyashka spores. The Paida factory is crumbling into the ocean, along with its ancient forgotten history, a mangled corpse, stinking of old magic spells, and the disgusting Fazaltian ways. The ways of our betrayers, Vamir, I think sometimes you do well to remember that. I'm putting a stop to any further separations you may have in mind for Nyashka Site 28. Your focus while you're stationed there is the Nyashka plant, harvesting the spores and preparing them for delivery back here to Olajay. Put to rest these notions you fabricated on protecting a world whose people, may I remind you, deceived us and tried to destroy us. If it wasn't for me, we might never have had a chance of being rid of this godforsaken place. For now, I will continue to maintain the Benoxy eye portals. I will also have talks with Tirarna mechanics to see if I can have some of those new blue Levantis crystal systems positioned around the Falitsu dome to repel the disgusting green seaweeds. I do advise you to start equipping yourself with the new Benoxy portal bracelets while being stationed on Nyashka Site 28. I'm always wearing one now, and while they don't work very well within the confines of an active Jalud, they are incredible at teleporting anyone back to the Ronalda Temple from a great distance away. A lot of the other Nyashka site station workers have these. They provide emergency teleportations directly back to the Ronaldo Temple in case of any Jalut's malfunctioning. Or in your case, ending up trapped in a Felizu Island zone linked between broken Benoxi Eye portals. Of course, we could power them back up from our end, but I could not say for sure how long this would take. Also, they save us a great deal of hassle. No longer will we have to fly men out to escort trapped workers back to Olajay. When team meetings are required, or if I need to bring all workers back in case of an emergency, I can override the teleportation system and bring the bracelet's occupier straight back here to the Ronaldo Temple. Oh, of course, I'd give you plenty of notice before doing so. The bracelets also help me keep a tally on how many workers there are out on the Nyashka sites. I've attached a bracelet with this letter in case you wish to use it. I do hope you understand my decision regarding ceasing work on the Benoxi Eye portals. We should be targeting our sights towards finding the Quilivian and leaving the rest of Azalta to rot within the dead pit it's become. With that, I bid you farewell. I shall retire behind the walls of the Ronaldo Temple, if only in desperation to rid the shrieks of those hungry, searching Benoxi from my tired ears. I do hope they'll never haunt your waking hours as much as mine. Small X. Alright, so Smollex is writing Vamir, mostly to complain. Some interesting information there. Smollex is at a place called the Ronaldo Temple, which is in Olajay. He's got some work to do there on something called the Laflomian Portal, which he uses the spores from the Nyashka plant to power. Not so much Paidas, although apparently they used to do that. Although he does want Paidas, he does say in the letter that he wants to use them, but right now, like, the city uses them for everything, so if they can figure out how to get an energy source from Felizu roots, he can save the Paidas for his work. There's some other stuff in there we don't understand yet about Benoxi, about somebody called Kerhelta Volka. He is also looking for the Quilivian, just like Vamir is, although Smolex's intentions are more transparently antagonistic. He despises the Nyashka Site 28, which is where we are, and cares not for the culture or for the people of Fazalta. He also talks about a portal bracelet, and he goes on and on about the virtues of this, almost as if he's being paid to shill for them. But it's a device that you can wear, and it can teleport you. In the case of this letter, he's really just talking about teleporting back to the Ronaldo Temple. But it shows he has the power to basically at will teleport out and teleport other people out, provided they're also wearing a bracelet. So just something to think about. We don't actually find a bracelet like that in the game. We have no intention of going to the Ronaldo Temple, but it's good to remember that Smolax has one. And he specifically mentioned that this particular portal bracelet does not work very well within the confines of an active Jalut. Alright, let's take a look in this drawer. And you guessed it, there's some more reading. I've got some kind of triangle here with stripes on it. Looks like it could be potentially a stamp of some kind, right? You hold the end and you stamp this symbol on something. Not sure if that's true. Got a card here, Wakara Security Systems, servicing client Vamir Dahili, and account number 567-87987-VX45. Same as my social security number, coincidentally. So modifications and repairs, details, 2 times WSS VED N80 security door systems. Basically saying that he's got 2 doors, 2 security doors. The first door is the serial number of 0900 47221. The second one has a serial number 0900 48810. Both of them originally installed in the year 4270 on the 10th of April, I guess. And modified 2 years and 1 month later. No repairs required. Serviced by Martin H. Kelshi. All right. That seems random, but let's remember some of that. In fact, this is actually in our journey tools now. If we go to the Pioneer Factory Zone, there's a slip of paper with the details WSS, Wakara Security Systems written on it. There's also a lot of numbers on it too. This is very helpful because I don't want to write all this shit down on a piece of paper, so it's nice to have all of these numbers just here in case you want to remember them. It's one of the cases one of the most prominent cases for me of a piece of information being automatically stored for you so you don't have to go to a lot of trouble. Got a note here saying Kula Paida version 2.0 updates. The Kula Paida is still in development, but after several attempts at powering old Fazaltian devices, I am very satisfied with the results. The Paida shell, created from vellum metal and a combination of red and blue original Paida shell, seems to withstand the forces of the Velatron machine quite effectively. This means I can conceal these devices, if I was ever required to do so. While there are still alterations to be made, the Kula Paida version 2.0 will enable me to power areas of Neyyah that aren't assigned to any of the new models SmallX has created, and most certainly any contraptions I bring to Neyyah. May the late members of the Pyoltish clan forgive me for disturbing the traditions of their rituals, the essence of their energies, the energies that they reworked and reworked until finally giving birth to the power of the Paida. While I pray that there are survivors from the clan, I hope they will never set eyes upon the abomination I have released upon their technology, despite my own satisfaction for my work. If I can rekindle a flame remotely close to the beauty of their magic, then I can be rest assured they are watching over me, guiding me. And if any survived, well, I hope they will look kindly upon what might just be an old fool's toy. So we know the Paidas are used as power sources. This Kula Paida is something that Vamir has made himself, and it is useful to him because he can power things that aren't connected to SmallX. So he can make his own separate power source not connected to Olajay, and it has some things apparently that other Paidas do not. A special shell for vellum metal, and it withstands the forces of the Velatron machine. That's something to bear in mind. Velatron is a word we've heard. It was in the emergency video call in these instructions. Orange Pai, Velatron machine. Oh, also, we read about a Zypher fish. There's the word Zypher. Spores released in the Yashka heater chamber. We've read a little bit about this now. Anyhow, there's also an item we can pick up. The spare key. We did it. We got the key. To-do list. Number 1. Finalize the code for the Pelska Shrine activation console. Have agreed upon 4231 with Orianne, but decide on which flora and constellation symbols to use. Write down combination in journal. That was done. We've seen that. We know it's flora, constellation. So that means, here, let me show you. That means with our journal, the first number, which is 4, is going to be a floral number. So Gafunkia Mushroom is the first symbol in the code for the Pelska portals, right? Because it's a 4. Then 2 is going to be a constellation number, and 3 is going to be a flora, so Felitu plant is the next number in that system. Alright, back to the to-do list. Number 2. Keep the spare keys to the Neyyah lock mechanisms and other locks at Lab HQ, here in this drawer. Must fit locks to the other doors at the main chambers on Penorvia Point. So yep, we found the key, and it's supposed to fit locks at a place called Penorvia Point, so this key will not only be used at the Glorfiak mines for a bunch of stuff, but it will also be used at Penorvia Point. Number 3, consider storing the old heater shells at the lab for now. The one with the crystal block mech symbols will need extra protection. Alright then. That is not as comprehensible to us at the moment. Although when we saw Mason in a few videos past, we were interrupting him. He was putting heater shells back in the lab, and we'd interrupted him in the middle of that. Number 4, the bridge to the watchtowers on Filitu Island's harbor zone is now permanently raised. Have used wood to wedge lever up. Quicker access. Bridge to the watchtowers in the harbor zone. Well, we haven't been to the harbor zone yet. So we'll see that when we see it, but basically we're not going to have to worry about raising or lowering a bridge when we get there. Bunker teleportation system. Vamir. While, unnecessary comma, the lab remains quiet, I've managed to look over the list of components you require for your new teleportation device, and honestly, it couldn't have come at a more pressing time. Many of my colleagues... That's not right. Colleges. Many of my colleges are becoming suspicious. I'm certain Tialki has been trying to sneak his way into my office recently, perhaps of his own accord, but I have a feeling SmallX put him up to it. What if he knows? A few of the scientists have also disappeared, and there's been no sign of them for days. I asked Olivia when they'll be returning to work. She just told me not to worry, yet I could see something in her eyes. Fear, caution. We're running out of time, Vamir. We must act fast if we're to find the Quilivian before Smolex does. After careful consideration, I've put together a list of items in which you will need to make this system work. With Orian's assistance, this will be our best chance of trapping Smolex. As long as you know the coordinates for Quone, we can do this. So there's a Palem sensor, which looks like that. TS8756. Whatever the number is. Great for detecting movement. A few of these can be fitted onto the inner walls of the bunker. With your assistance, I should be able to connect their signals to Oriana and she'll be able to detect Smolex's arrival. Then the countdown can begin. The Relagious speakers will come in handy here. Kula crystal fuses. A B56 fuse should suffice. The idea will be to have these connected to the hole in the roof. Once the Jalud enters, they will ignite and activate the plasma shield. The shield's activation also powers up the Palem sensors. These guys. Relagious speaker. These will be sufficient enough to bring across Orian's countdown when the time is right. I'm aware that Orian has been able to tap into the minds of some of Smolex's workmen while they've been stationed on Neyyah. I'm sure she'll have no trouble connecting with this piece of kit. These will activate once the Palem sensors turn on. Over the coming days, we'll arrange a time where we can both go down to Neyyah and I can assist you in setting everything up. The bunker is also a great location. Due to the reports of cursed goings-on, we can conduct our work with very little chance of being discovered by Smolex's men. They won't dare inspect this area, especially being so close to Orian's Pelska shrine. The system will be well hidden. Once we've set up the teleportation system, I will inform you of my feedback. Until then, Ernter. And a drawing of something we haven't seen before. Following up on a job well done. Everything is good to go. I finished connecting the Kula crystal fuses to the bunker roof today. I will leave you to nail the boards onto the front door. Remove the wheel lock too, but before you do so I urge you to remove any weapons left behind in the bunker. That place still has ammunition lying around from when the Fazaltians used it as a storage unit. Smolex might not know how to use a Taluk, but if he does and he managed to attain one inside his entrapment, then he might be forced to use it as an escape, and outside he would have access to his Binoxi portal bracelet and return to Olajay. I made a mental note to check the bunker myself, but lately I have had so much on my mind. Another one of my colleagues has been reported missing, and more of Smolex's soldiers patrol the Paida labs, day and night. Something's happening, Vamir. We have to act fast. The Jalud landing pad has been checked and double-checked. Its purpose is to lure Smolex's Jalud into the bunker. Once there, it will remain powered. Even when Smolex leaves the craft, there will be no way to turn off the Jalud. This will render his Binoxi portal bracelet inactive, and he will not be able to teleport himself back to Olajay. However, the Jalud will only disable the bracelet within the confines of the bunker. He must not escape. It's your job to make sure he stays within the bunker, enough time for Orian's countdown to begin and for the teleportation process to activate. I know you've devised various systems on Neyyah, and I don't understand all of them, but everything in that bunker is now operational and waits for the right moment. You mentioned last time we were working together at the bunker that you've set up an activation tablet at the Pelska shrine. 2 code systems. One I recall you saying is used for something completely different, activation for some sort of portable teleportation device. Be that as it may, please remember that once you've opened the code box for the bunker teleportation system, an emergency signal will be sent to the Ronalda Temple, at which point Smolax will come for you. I tried bypassing this security system a few times while setting everything up, but no such luck. You'll need to enter the password you've created for the bunker teleportation system straight away, otherwise Smolax will arrive on Neyyah and his Jalud won't be brought into the bunker. Instead, he'll arrive outside and have free roam to come after you on Neyyah. Also, I recall you mentioning an arrangement you've made with Oriana as part of the activation process, an offering? Please, Vamir, double-check everything. The bunker teleportation system is set up. Now you must bring Smolex to Neyyah at the right time. Good luck, old friend. Ernter. Okay, so there's a lot here. This is a picture of the bunker. We have not seen it yet. We will see it eventually. It's a pretty obvious building, hard to miss. So apparently there is a plan going on with Vamir and a guy named Ernter, probably a guy, as well as some other people. They're trying to do without Smolex knowing. They're planning to trap him. So Smolex is the big bad guy. They want to get rid of him some way. This involves luring him into a bunker. So right now Smolex is at the Ronalda Temple. He's not on Neyyah, and he apparently has no interest in coming to Neyyah. But the minute that a signal is sent by opening a certain code panel, then Small X will see that signal and will come to Neyyah because he'll see an emergency signal. Ordinarily, he would just arrive at a Jaloot docking station, but they want him to arrive in the bunker, particularly because they have booby-trapped the bunker, so when the Jaloot arrives, a shield will go up, trapping him inside, and keeping the Jaloot active so that his portable bracelet won't work. Once inside, he has to be teleported away by Orianne. So basically, he's going to teleport in, get trapped there, and get teleported out against his will. That is the way they plan to get rid of Small X. Requires some steps to be done. So they've got all... This is just all of the systems they have in place. And what was the other bit here that was important? It was... He was talking basically about removing the ammunition in the bunker. That was the other part, saying, hey, please make sure you've cleaned it out. I think it was the first page here, maybe. Yes, remove the wheel lock so the door doesn't work. Or remove any weapons left behind in the bunker. The place still has ammunition lying around. So if Vamir hadn't done that, or if he hasn't done that, then if Small X arrives in the bunker, he might find a weapon and use it to break out. So if Small X gets trapped in the bunker, we don't want him to get out. Now, we are not sure at this point if we are going to be a part of this plan or why we would do so. But if we are going to be part of it, we have to make sure we follow the instructions that were meant here for Vamir. Alright, that's everything at this desk. I want to do one other thing. You know what? No, I just checked the time. It's been about 45 minutes just of this. So what I'm going to do is in the next video, I'm going to finish up with the office. There's a bit more reading to do, but it's way, way less than this. And then we're going to start making our way around the portals that we will activate on Neyyah. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoy a big fat lore dump. And I will see you in the next video. Have yourselves a good day. Goodbye.